KEOC News, your eyes on the city with me, Jessica Adams. Next up, it's a big day for justice. Convicted cop killer and international smuggling kingpin, Charles Jericho, faces sentencing later today. An as-yet unnamed police officer was instrumental in Jericho's arrest and in obtaining evidence of the 17 counts of murder, smuggling, and drug trafficking in a mob boss cases.
Previously on Driver San Francisco. All right, Mr. Unnamed Officer, you're all over the news. Congratulations. So let's hang it up for today, huh?
Jericho put a bullet in my back, and a lot of good men in the ground.
Today is a good day. Today the feds are giving me a great cluster.
The hunt for Charles Jericho. We follow the trail of destruction left in the wake of his dramatic escape to the scene where one brave officer was critically injured trying to apprehend the fugitive.
Jack! Don't you do this to me!
Clear!
First time it happened, I was like floating above it.
Your standard near-death experience, huh?
Yeah, right. The next time it happened, I could sort of pick a body. Wham! Jericho must have serious plans. He's up to something.
See you around town. All around! Easy coma's just a pretty word for you dead. Who knows how much time you got? I wouldn't waste another second bullshit. Why don't we just kill each other?
Enough messing around. You want to fight Jericho? You got it.
That's more like it! What are you gonna do, though? Better do it quick! Smell of nuts in the air, Tanner!
Let me get this straight. Will you zap into a fine-looking lady?
I keep my hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to work.
New Game Plus. How often do you see that in games now? 14 years. That's how long it's been since Driver San Francisco first released. 14 whole years. There are people on the internet, walking and talking, that are younger than this game. Yet as soon as that yellow Challenger pops up on screen, it's universally recognized. It's crazy the lasting impression this game left on people, especially me. I remember my first exposure to it was some grainy footage of a screen recorded at some Gamescom pre-release. I just happened upon it. In fact, I don't remember any advertising for the game itself, before or after that point. I had to search for it. Oh, this shit probably went triple platinum on Reddit when it first came out. I was 11 at the time of the release. I got it that same day, which really speaks a lot for the trust we had in games back then. God, how you've ruined the industry. Driver San Francisco was developed by Ubisoft Reflections, formerly known as Reflections Interactive Limited, which started life as an independent studio in 1984, which was then acquired by GT Interactive, which would then become Atari Incorporated. Not the Atari, but also the Atari. There's actually a bit of confuckery between parent and sister companies and buyouts and such. I can't be bothered to go into it. Ubisoft would buy it 8 years later in 2006, and then slather their name right across it. I shouldn't need to tell you who Ubisoft is. I think that's a household name now. For better or for worse, I'll save my opinions for near the end. Reflections created the whole line of driver games, featuring Detective John Tanner solving crimes around the globe. Every game's plot would revolve around John Tanner going undercover to solve cases and gather evidence to eventually bring the house down around the criminal underworld. I'm not going to lather these games in nostalgia though, they really did not age well. Driver 1 had definitely made its mark on the PS1 with a 3D open world driving game, which was rare at the time. And it was still visually impressive. The driving was solid, but it just sort of lacked a lot at the same time. I'm going to be burned at the stake for saying that. To take a little, you gotta give a little, and I think the gameplay suffered, at least in longevity. It looked cool, and maybe it was cool for at least 20 or so minutes, but there's only so much you could do with police chases over and over again. There was a small sprinkle of stunt missions, but mostly chases. Driver 2 would add the ability to move on foot, and honestly just a much better game, but again, to take a little, you gotta give a little. And this time, the game just aided on performance for the sake of big worlds. Yes, worlds, plural with an S. Just like discs, plural with an S. Because Driver 2 came on 2 discs. Granted, still impressive for the PS1, but it's a reoccurring theme for the first game that carried into the later titles. It seemed as though there was a big focus on looking technically impressive, but the gameplay itself took a backseat. Not that they were bad, they were good games. Just ambitious, I think is the word that everybody is using. If you ever want to get a feel for these, there's a game on itch.io that's a pretty faithful remaster. I'll link it below. Then there was Driver 3. Driver 3 was bad.
Shoot him! Now!
I remember vividly buying and returning this game within a 48-hour period. But I didn't even know it was Driver 3 until recently. I just picked it up one of those buy 2 get 1 free sales GameStop used to do when they were cool, featuring big stars like Michael Madsen, Ving Rhames, and Michelle Rodriguez, who was a perfect fit for the automotive franchise after her role in her action crime car movie, 3 AM.
It knows you.
And what exactly does it want from me?
They all play as G.I. Joe action figures caught up in some international car theft smuggling ring, complete with stiff as a board gunplay and straw-dry voice acting.
But I'm getting you a haircut and a new life up north. The car's in the Gold Coast Hotel.
Michael Madsen was not a good pick for Tanner. It was pretty clear that most of the budget went into actors and advertising.
I've been playing since Atari, ColecoVision, to Sega, to Nintendo, to Super Nintendo.
Honestly, it's a miracle that we got anything after this. Take it from Papa Wyo. This game was dog shit, and I never got close to finishing it. So imagine my shock when I saw this name mentioned while studying for this game.
Never goes anywhere without this man, Jericho, King's lieutenant and personal bodyguard.
Driver San Francisco was released on September 1st, 2011, as a soft sequel to Driver 3 with the return of Charles Jericho.
Day is a good day.
Which is pretty neat since Driver 3 ended on a cliffhanger, leaving all 17 people who willingly finished the game in absolute suspense.
Mistake.
Again, I didn't know this when I first played the game way back then. I thought Jericho was just some guy that Tanner had a mysterious beef with. This is your generic spoiler warning. It's hard to explain the mechanics and gameplay of the game without talking about the story.
KEOC News, your eyes on the city with me, Jessica Adams. Next up, it's a big day for justice. Convicted cop killer and international smuggling kingpin, Charles Jericho, faces sentencing later today. An as-yet unnamed police officer was instrumental in Jericho's arrest and in obtaining evidence of the 17 counts of murder, smuggling, and drug trafficking the mob boss faces.
The story opens in San Francisco, picking up, supposedly, 3 months after the ending of Driver 3, beginning on the day of Jericho's trial with him awaiting an escort to the courthouse from his cell. This might seem like a big jump from the ending of Driver 3, but there was a promotional comic released in the collector's edition that explained everything that happened in between. I couldn't find one for cheap, and the only publicly available one archived is in Italian, which I didn't have the time to translate in its entirety. I'll link it below for anyone interested, anyone who could possibly translate it. Also, if someone has a collector's edition with the model and are willing to part with it, let me know. I would do dirty things for it. Long story short, both recover from their wounds, and Jericho escapes from Istanbul to San Francisco, where he is then reacquired and arrested by John Tanner. Tanner even brings up the ending of Driver 3 himself.
Come on, John, what do you say, man?
Jericho put a bullet in my back and let a good man in the ground. I need to see this through.
Unfortunately for Tanner, Jericho has been around the block once or twice. Jail is nothing more than an inconvenience to him, and another opportunity to make money. Striking a deal with this guy that probably has some significance, I couldn't find any in my study. He's got money, though.
We straight?
On everything except the price.
We agreed on 20.
You mumble a little bit, Rufus.
25.
I'll let you know what the touch of a woman feels like. I'm asking 30. You got 30 more years in here. I'm asking 30 million. It's not a hard choice.
Fine.
With money like that being thrown around, and Jericho's influence on the international crime world, I'm sure you can guess what happens next. One of the guards is a paid-off insider who slips Jericho whatever this is,
Son of a bitch!
along with hiring a trained assassin who hitches a ride on a news helicopter.
5 minutes on SF News. Just keep us right where we are.
Little fact I think you guys will enjoy. If you see this car on screen, it is almost certain to explode at some point. It's a completely fictional car that exists solely as a punching bag for the game. This was about the time that car manufacturers were getting really anal about their portrayal in media, which I can understand. Could you imagine the PR nightmare Ford would have if people found out the Crown Victoria would explode if hit by a rocket-propelled grenade? It'd have been a catastrophe! Anyways, Tanner's fears are realized.
Whoa!
Chasing Jericho down across the streets of San Francisco, leaving a trail of destruction in his freshly acquired paddy wagon that is way faster than a solid chunk of rolling bulletproof steel should be.
Hey, you went down that alley.
I see it.
Where'd he go? Whoa, he's behind us! Come on, man, drive, drive!
And just like that, Driver San Francisco begins the same way Driver 3 ends, with Jericho putting Tanner in the hospital.
Nabız atmıyor. Hemen elektroşok cihazını verin. Hadi. Herkes açılsın. Çekilin.
Tanner. Tanner. Tanner!
Tanner awakens in an empty lot, clearly reeling from the hit, but is strangely physically okay.
We lived through that.
Saw where he went.
What? Hey, come on, man. We gotta get you to a hospital.
Jericho's got a head start.
It's quickly apparent that something is off.
Damn traffic! Come on already, try faster, Ray. I'm going as fast as I can, Ricky.
Jones?
Man, you look like crap.
Though Tanner chooses to ignore it in order to catch up to Jericho's last known whereabouts. It isn't long before things start to break down further, and upon finding the abandoned armored truck, things get really weird.
Damn it! He's gone, man. How the hell did he do that?
We gotta... Whoa.
Hey, you alright?
Steady! That guy's in pretty bad shape back there.
Damn it, Ray! What the hell are you doing? What are you stopping for?
Where the hell? I'm in the ambulance.
No shit, genius. We got a head trauma in the back and the ER is that way. Eyes on the city, Ray. Come on, let's go.
I'm Ray? I'm Ray.
Come on, Ray. Gas pedal's the one on the right.
Yeah, okay. I got this. Partner, where to?
If it's not obvious now, we're in a dream state of Tanner's mind. Also, this is probably the best way they could have introduced both this reveal and this new feature, placing us directly into the driver's seat of the ambulance carrying the protagonist himself. Driver San Francisco is much more tame compared to previous titles. The gunplay was dropped entirely, and the vehicle commandeering is replaced with a new gameplay feature called Shift. Instead of carjacking mechanics similar to GTA, you shift into the body of the person driving whatever vehicle you select. There is, statistically, at least one person watching this video with no prior knowledge who thinks this sounds like a really dumb mechanic, but just hear me out for a little bit longer. It's actually really neat. After dropping off our physical being at the hospital, our mental being takes flight once again, and we finally get a chance to play with Shift.
You see that sign? Do it, Tanner?
Man, that billboard's been there for years.
Oh, this is too freaking weird. Okay, I'm gonna try it again.
Try what?
Believe me, I'm not sure myself, but here goes. How am I up here? Oh my god. I'm not falling. I gotta get down. Okay, focus. There. Okay. Well, I'm not dead, and I'm not me. Now, do it again?
Shift gives you a bird's eye view of San Francisco. An eye on the city. Eh? Any car, truck, bus, and anything in between is shiftable, allowing Tanner to take over the that's a hard word, allowing Tanner to take control of the driver within it. It seems like a batshit insane mechanic, but it's a great way to shake up a genre that's usually extremely limited, being locked in a car 24/7. In fact, before you can continue the story, you're thrown into a police pursuit with no police backup, prompting the player to use the cars around themselves to end the pursuit.
Alright, come on.
Also, when you shift into a car with a passenger, it could lead to some really funny interactions.
So, tell me something interesting.
What, about your sister? She's a honey, I can tell you that.
That's not what I had in mind.
It's a mechanic you get used to using real quick, and you'll need to, as most of the missions in the game require its use one way or the other. There are tons of challenges dotted around the map to play with and experiment with Shift. Or, if you want to take a break from it and play something a little bit more grounded, try some of these challenges based off of famous movie car scenes. There's also a throwback mission to the first driver's infamous parking garage introduction, which is just as annoying as the original. The story plays with the mechanic in multiple different ways beyond what you can do in free roam, along with other neat things that they could get away with in a world with loose rules.
How did you find me?
You don't even want to know.
On that note, let's get back into the story.
Jones! Hey, Jones! You won't believe it.
We eventually make it back to our own body and start focusing on Jericho's escape, laying out all the evidence so far and any leads they may have. Something they bring up is the shooter from the helicopter, who conveniently left the pilot alive to give a description of. I mean, it's possible. She had no problem killing this bozo, so it seems like a loose end from someone that's supposedly a professional. Oh, and I am going to be pointing out plot holes and such. I am the type of a-hole that can't shut up during movies.
So we do it old school. Start turning over some garbage and see where the roaches lead us.
Okay, let's talk names. What about Jimmy Herrera?
San Quentin. Ordell Williams?
Better break. He's out on parole.
Not much, but it's a start.
They eventually decide to use some random parolee Ordell Williams as a plant. It's how the game sticks with Driver's long-running undercover theme. Deep undercover one.
Yeah.
Face Off, with 100% less Nicolas Cage. Strange thing is, when we meet Ordell, he's sitting in the passenger seat as we shift into Darius Spencer, who has a total of 20 seconds of screen time before Tanner decides to make Ordell Williams his plan. In fact, there's zero mention of what happens to Darius Spencer. At all. He gets crossed out on the evidence board out of the blue.
Small fry, but they're working for Jericho's crew. Worth keeping my eye on.
We now have a plant in the Jericho Syndicate. But now Tanner has to convince Jones of his new powers using this jackass in a solstice, performing various stunts and actions that Tanner predicts, but doesn't really predict because he's doing them.
That guy's a complete maniac.
I'm the complete maniac.
Feels like there is easier ways to do this, but it works.
No part of me that wants to believe what I just saw.
Yeah, but you saw it. I'm not losing my mind. It's real.
Yeah, it looks that way. Man, so let me get this straight. Would you zap into a fine-looking lady?
I keep my hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
Immediately after, Jones and Tanner get a call about a kidnapping in progress. She gives us updates on her location over the phone until the connection drops,
Hello, Sarah.
leaving only one option.
We need to focus on the lady in the damn trunk.
I am. Son of a bitch, I'm in. I've got to pop the trunk.
Told you there'd be some cool uses. By shifting back and forth between Sarah and Tanner, we eventually catch up to the kidnapper. However, in order to protect Sarah, we can't rear-end the car she's in. Instead, we opt for the much safer, much more professional head-on collision.
Well done.
Why, thank you.
I love this game. The lady in the trunk is Sarah Allen, a biochemist, with skills that Jericho has interest in the beginning strokes of his big master plan. She also describes the mystery woman who kidnapped her. It's not hard to infer that it's the same woman from the intro.
There was this woman. She was striking. Sounded foreign, maybe Middle Eastern?
The mission ends with Sarah being dropped off at the hospital, and Tanner and Jones having a bit of a conversation about the call.
So, how's she doing?
She's shook up, but she'll be all right.
Well, it's not every day you get locked in the trunk of a car.
Not for her, anyway.
What does that even mean? Sounds like it's your first time shifting to someone locked in the trunk also.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
Jones and Tanner get a lead on the woman Sarah described, which sets up for one of the worst types of missions in any game. Ever.
Hey, you're too close, Tanner. Pull back a bit. Just don't lose her.
Do this, do that. When did we get married?
Hey, put your foot down. She's pulling too far ahead.
I'm on it.
40 Adam 30, this is Control. Interpol got a hit on that visual. She's coming up as an American citizen of Egyptian descent, Leila Sharon.
Layla Sharon. Damn, this is Major League. Thanks, Control. Out.
You know her?
She's got quite a reputation. Not for her looks.
So what do you know about her?
She's a killer for hire. Cut her teeth in Africa. Whichever dirty war, whichever side, the girl knows how to get paid.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind paying her some...
She's not your type, Jones. Unless you like girls who stab you on the first date.
On your first playthrough of the game, sections of San Francisco will be locked until later in the story, which they use to end this mission. It is kind of weird on New Game Plus though, when all the areas are unlocked.
John, what are you doing, man? She's right there.
I can't go through that.
Through what? Okay, we are definitely taking you to the hospital. This is affecting you, man.
No, I'm fine. Look, we've got to let her go. Just trust me on this one.
The story continues with reports of a stolen SUV carrying platinum, which puts us in the passenger seat of a helicopter scanning cars to look for said SUV.
One thing, you can't fly a helicopter.
I don't want to be the pilot. I'll be taking surveillance.
You know the lingo.
Yeah, cop cars are ground units. I'll pick up the rest.
What is cool is that you can scan any car you want along the way for information on the car and its owner, which kind of looks familiar, huh? I actually have no idea if there's any relevant connection. It's probably just purely coincidence. You don't actually have to do anything. You're just hand-delivered into the seat of this SUV, essentially, which you then hand-deliver to a police truck with no effort, which you then hand-deliver the police truck while trying to avoid getting bombed. I don't remember these cars exploding back in 2011. But again, can't hurt the licensed brands, so you know which ones will explode and which ones don't. And don't worry, the truck brand's also fake. No bad Volvo PR here. Also, wait a minute. If you could just shift into the body of the bad guy here, why didn't Tanner do that with the guy that kidnapped Sarah and just bring her straight to the police that way? Yeah, I know, I get it. There would be no game if it made sense like that. But still, like, why?
Platinum is a good score. And if it is Jericho, then it's only one piece of the puzzle. Could be he's trying to bankroll something big.
And thus ends Chapter 2, slowly piecing together Jericho's master plan. But we're not there yet. First we gotta do this god-awful race.
Car 1 to Car 2. You okay, Macy?
I'm fine, Dad. All we gotta do is place first and second.
You can say skill issues all you want. It took me forever to finish this mission back in 2011. I wasn't about to experience that again. If it gives me the option to just kill everyone so I don't have to do it, I will. There's also this side mission where you have to take this guy to a safe house while avoiding any of the main roads. I actually do think this mission is sorta cool since it makes use of the mini-map to plan your route, but he is really annoying.
Oh, look at all the people looking at us!
Shut up! I'm listening to the Italian V8.
Please!
I should mention that each story mission is locked until you complete a handful of side missions. Luckily, there's enough variety to stop them from getting repetitive. The only thing that stays consistent are these two bozos in a street racing mission, bar 2 different missions, including this one. None of these missions really tie into the story itself definitively, except for the side mission in which you have to defend the armored truck Jericho used to escape in from attackers. Not sure why he would care about destroying this thing, but okay. If I talked about every side mission for every chapter, we'd be here for way too long. So I'll just stick to the highlights from here on out. The next main mission involves interrogating an insider involved in the Platinum heist.
You're sure throwing some serious green around, Haynes.
I told you, my aunt died. Left me a bundle.
Come on, Haynes, you can tell me. You were in on the Platinum heist, right?
That's bull. Where do you get off saying that?
Well, if that's the way you want to play it. Buckle up, Buttercup. This is gonna get scary.
You have to raise his heart rate by performing stunts and crashes.
Nice driving, douchebag.
You really want to get mouthy with me?
A mission type that was present all the way back in Driver 1. Then, you have to escape from Jericho's henchmen.
Oh God! Yeah, seems I'm not the only one who figured you'd squeal.
Afterwards, he reveals the plan was never to sell the platinum, but use it for something instead. Another piece of the puzzle.
Previously on Driver San Francisco.
KEOC Lunchtime, your eyes on the city with me, Gabby Denver. Coming up after the break, the hunt for Charles Jericho. We follow the trail of destruction left in the wake of his dramatic escape to the scene where one brave officer was critically injured trying to apprehend the fugitive.
Fuck these guys, I guess. Our next mission is a call about stolen ammonia tankers. It's a typical head-on smash fest which becomes the norm for a lot of missions. Never realized how much filler the side missions provide. The story's pacing is really quick. We're halfway done already. This mission introduces another Jericho goon, Krug, whatever they decide to call him. The mission ends with a call to Sarah, the chemist who was kidnapped earlier in the game, to ask about both the platinum and the ammonia.
Well, Jericho's taking a real interest in chemistry. I think we should too.
Detective Tanner?
Hi, Sarah. This is Detective Jones. We thought you might be able to help us with a couple of questions.
What have you got?
Ammonia, that's for fertilizer, right?
That and cleaning products.
Right, but what about if you had a bunch of platinum to play with too?
Platinum's a catalyst. If you passed ammonia over it and you knew what you were doing, you could make hydrogen cyanide.
Cyanide?
Cyanide gas.
Cyanide gas, a lot of it. Jones, that's bad news.
Jericho and WMD. No kidding.
By the way, the transition from pre-rendered animations to in-game animations is not meant to be this harsh. The PC version lacks post-processing effects seen on the console versions to help them blend a bit. These were never added in any patches, though you can fix it with a mod. Personally, I prefer it without them. Chapter 4 begins the usual way. These Nimrods racing again, this escape mission that I struggled with for some reason, and a speed reference, before we continue with our investigation tailing Krug.
I thought we agreed to pronounce it Krug.
Whatever.
And it's another tailing mission! My favorite.
You think I'm wearing a wire? I swear you can search me. Search my car, my place, man. I promise you won't find nothing.
I mean, technically you're not wrong. Unfortunately, you're driving the punching bag car. This guy's role in the story is so insignificant, he doesn't even get his own wiki page. This mission really amounts to nothing, other than confirming that Jericho is behind everything, which we already know. The follow-up mission traces the call that triggers the bomb, which leads you straight to the man himself, Jericho.
He's got no way out. Call it in, I'm gonna take him down.
All right, watch yourself. Hey, whoa! You sure that's him?
Positive. Hands on the roof.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yo, Tanner, ease up, man. That's not Jericho.
I can see the headlines now. John Tanner gets his man. City praises hero detective.
Hey, Tanner, man, I said ease up.
You know, I wish you'd pull a gun on me. A reason to shoot you would make my day.
Tanner, what the hell's gotten into you?
You just don't get it, do you? Come on, just shoot me.
Whoa, Tanner! Tanner!
See you around, Tanner.
All around! Damn, man, what'd I do this time?
John. Hey, John! Hey, you, get the hell out of here.
Oh no, this is bad in many, many ways.
What?
1, that driver wants us dead. 2, that driver's Jericho.
What?
I really like this. We spent most of the game using the city's traffic on enemies. Now the tables have been turned and are being used on us. The AI is not very smart, so it's not much of a challenge. Unfortunately, I'm not very smart either.
Hey, can we get him somewhere narrow? Push him into a wall.
Look, if he wants us dead, he doesn't care if civilians die along the way. I do.
No, you fucking don't! I can't even begin to list how many innocent people you've endangered. Literally 10 minutes ago, you brought a passenger along to defuse a truck bomb.
Phew. How about that? Could have been nasty.
I'm waiting for an explanation.
Innocent civilians, my ass! But yes, Jericho possesses the same powers that Tanner has, making Tanner's investigation a whole lot more complex. Chapter 5. We smash some meds, defuse some more truck bombs, save a life, and do some more racing. Except with these two horny bastards.
Go on, Charlie. Step on it.
Jenna, I really like you know? And I was hoping you liked me for more than my car and stuff.
Charlie, you win this race, and I'm yours.
Oh God.
We continue infiltrating Jericho's ranks using Ordell as a plan.
What do you want, Ordell?
Why are you wasting me on kid stuff, sweetheart? I'm the best damn wheelman in this city.
Leela sets up a small time trial for us to complete, and that's it. That's the mission.
Ordell, call me sweetheart again and I'll string you up by the balls.
I'll bear that in mind, honey.
Just keep pushing me.
Things start to really break down at this point in the story.
Tanner. Hello?
Something just doesn't make sense.
Oh, yeah? Well, just add it to my list of crap that don't make sense when I'm with you.
Hey, just a minute. Jericho's a grade A gangster, right?
Point being?
He's not a mass murderer.
Ah, bull. He blew up a daycare just to pick $1 out of the rubble.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Revenge costs money. It doesn't bring it in.
Ah, why are you overthinking this?
Just doesn't add up.
So explain it to me then.
Look, I can't.
Nah, come on, I'm all ears.
Look, it's not
what?
that...
I'm sorry, I'm still not hearing your genius explanation,
hey,
John.
Don't be an asshole.
Oh, I'm the asshole. That's real nice.
God damn it, Jones.
What?
Look, if it was just
If it was just that what? If it was just that...
If it was just that simple.
Oh yeah, I'd love to hear
yeah,
this.
if it was just that simple.
You're blowing hot air, John. You're blowing hot air like a big old...
like that. Jones? What the hell? Oh, man. Jones, the city, all frozen. Oh, man, I've lost it. I've totally lost it. What the? That ambulance. It's the only thing that's moving. I feel so heavy. So damn tired. I've got to find some way out of this nightmare.
I believe at this point, Tanner's experienced some sort of extreme tachycardia, possibly a seizure. I don't know. I had to ask. I know nothing about medical stuff. I stuck metal things together. But it's safe to say that the real John Tanner is currently not doing so hot. At this point, a lot had happened in the story, and I think the writers wanted to pull the player back in and remind them that everything that is happening inside Tanner's head, and that his injuries and comatose state is really doing numbers on him. Luckily, following the ambulance helps stabilize Tanner, but there's no telling for how long. And at this point, Tanner is still completely unaware of what's really happening to him.
You're blowing hot air like a big old asshole. It's called the brain fart. What the hell are you doing?
Just some more strange crap for you to put on that list of yours, Jones.
All right, you lost me there, man.
In the time between my snapping my fingers and you hearing it, I was somewhere else. I was on some goddamn death race. In some nightmare remix of San Francisco.
Yeah, okay, John.
I'm serious.
Damn, John, you're either screwing with me or scaring me. I don't know which.
I'm serious.
Hey, listen, man, everything's gonna be okay. We'll pull you through this, whatever it is.
Yeah, thanks for the support.
No, I mean it. You're gonna pull through. I know you can hear me, and everything's gonna be okay. What?
Let's get moving.
Police chases Chuck Defense stolen car delivery. These guys again. Now racing for Jericho himself. Morons. It's Group B themed though, and in the coolest Group B car ever, and I will not be taking arguments on this. Then we were back to moving Ordell up the ranks, this time as a getaway driver for this guy.
I'm Ordell, by the way. You are...
I'm your passenger, Ordell.
Good to meet you.
I actually got away from the cops decently fast in this mission. It introduces this guy into the story who's deemed important enough to add to the investigation board, but then he just never appears again. Now you see him, now you don't. We then immediately shift back to Darius in the next mission on an important assignment, direct from Jericho himself. No screw-ups, no second chances.
Slow down. We should acquire the target anytime now. The yellow Dodge, up ahead. Stay close, but don't be obvious.
That's my car.
What? That's the cop that's been getting in our way.
Do we follow him to the target?
He is the target.
And yes, I know, it's the famous second-person mission. Don't get me wrong, it's a cool mission and a great example of second person. But if I didn't say anything, it would be the only thing people would comment about. And if I pretended like it was a fun fact, everyone would have accused me of just stealing from Nick Robinson. Listen, we've all watched the video. It's a very good video. No hate to it. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. But it's the Game of Thrones helmet kick fact of video games now. Give it a rest. That being said, I totally fucked up this mission multiple times as a kid because I thought you had to control both the Hummer and the Challenger at the same time. Which, I mean, you kinda do, but not really. The Hummer just follows on its own. If it wasn't for this guy explaining it, I'd have probably still done the same thing. It's a very, very creative mission. I'm pretty sure it threw a ton of people for a loop who are probably just expecting to just smash the Hummer and get away. But if that's not enough of a twist for you...
It's me. I'm with Ordell. He's not feeling himself. I'll let him know.
Let me know what?
Your partner up there is about to get a nasty surprise, detective. If you're here, who's in your body?
Well, no one. Oh, God. You mean... Jericho?
Sit back and enjoy the show. Not many people get to watch themselves die.
There's more than one cop in that car, Layla. Sorry, Jones, but I gotta borrow you for a while.
Hello, Tanner. Glad you could join me. Feels pretty strange, doesn't it? Having someone else at the wheel.
I know about the bomb. You're a scumbag, but I never had you down as a terrorist.
You just don't get it, Lee. You got your eyes on the city, when it should be on your own hide. See you in hell, Tanner.
What the hell's going on?
Just hang on tight.
What the hell just happened?
Sorry, partner. Had to borrow you for a while.
What? Oh, man, I feel violated.
Trust me, you should be grateful you're feeling anything at all.
Chapter 7. The last chapter. Things are starting to really break down around Tanner.
This is KEOC News, your eyes on the city.
Good to see you back on your feet. It's bad, John. I won't lie to you. We're putting an evacuation plan together. Goddamn National Guard's been mobilized. We need you, Tanner. We need you.
What the hell?
We start the final chapter tracking down Layla to finally bring her in.
Something's not right here.
Let's get closer. It's a trap, John. We got company. Get us out of here, man. Control 40 Adam 30 requesting immediate backup. We're under attack here heading on a Route 101.
Roger, 40 Adam 30. Hang in there.
The enemies that chase you down in this mission are extremely slow. Really not a problem. And for some reason, Jones is extremely aggressive in this mission.
Come on, Tanner. We gotta find her.
You think I'm not trying?
Ah, quit your whining. This ain't about your ego. Make it happen.
You catch up to Leela and smash her into submission. That read differently in my mind. But with Layla out of the way, Jericho will have to take care of Tanner personally, which then leads us into our grand finale. Tanner and Jones are patrolling the streets when they receive a call.
All units, officer down in alleyway between Bryant and Crab.
2 minutes.
40 Adam 30 en route to collision.
How do you know it's a collision?
Who said anything about a collision?
You!
We don't have time for this, man. Drive the damn car. Alleyway between Bryant and Crab. You know it?
Do I look all right to you?
You look like you need sleep. Snap out of it. Officer down.
Yeah. Turn that damn radio off! Please.
Brian. I'm gonna throw this thing out the window, I swear.
John?
Yeah, what happened to our call sign?
Everything's gonna be all right. You're gonna make it.
Yeah. We'll be there in about 30 seconds.
Where's this guy going in a hurry?
It's Jericho. Going after him.
You sure, John? We got the other call.
Forget the other call. We're going after Jericho. What the hell? Jones? Where did everybody go?
things begin to really break down for Tanner, roaming the empty streets of San Francisco. Until...
Enough's enough. Let's just call it a day and...
Jericho. More Jericho? What kind of a twisted... Hell, John, stop questioning this stuff and get on with it. Son of a...
Too many of them. Too exposed. I gotta head deeper into the city. Let the streets work for me.
Where'd he go?
I'd been here before.
Hey, what the hell are you talking about? Come on, stay with me, John. Oh, he's behind us! Oh, man, drive, drive!
No! God, I know this. This is what happened. I gotta change this somehow. I gotta! Jones, I'm sorry. What?
Are requesting that residents of South Beach, downtown, and the surrounding area stay calm and evacuate quickly and in an orderly fashion.
Crap.
We're told that no demands have been issued. Just that ominous warning received a little over an hour ago that law enforcement officials have now confirmed came from Charles Jericho. We've just received a few more details from law enforcement officials. Apparently, they are now confirming that we are dealing with some sort of chemical weapon.
This isn't happening.
Police are requesting that people abandon their vehicles as a way of expediting the evacuation process. This is KEOC News, your eyes on the city.
Eyes on the city.
We need eyes on the city.
Eyes on the city, Ray.
I gotta stop him.
Tanner, John, stay with us, man. Come on, buddy. Fight it. Fight it. Tanner! Tanner! Tanner!
I know you can hear me, partner. I need you to fight.
Just a little longer.
After all this time, Tanner finally realizes the world he's been living in isn't real, and everything he's done has been for nothing. Now, I'm not a doctor, but this seems like a mild setup for a comatose patient who was fucking dying not even 15 minutes ago. I mean, I could be wrong. I guess it's not that important. We return to the dream world chasing down Jericho while he tries to stop you with the traffic around him. A shift battle, at least in the first phase. The second phase of the chase locks Tanner in his car.
What the hell? I guess I'm stuck here.
Oh, and Jericho can throw cars right at you.
Still, holy mother of...
I love this final mission. It's so unhinged and an actual challenge compared to most of the game. I mean, where do you see this sort of stuff in other games?
Next coma, I want a yacht. I want deep sea fishing and a goddamn yacht.
Considering this is your second coma, I think that's a fair demand.
Miss me?
A few hours ago, I would have driven us both into a wall if there was a chance it would kill you.
Why'd they change your heart? Your balls drop off?
None of this is real. So what would be the point?
Might feel good. Breaking my face. Cracking my ribs. Seeing me bleed. That's what you want. So why don't you just do it?
And then what?
Then we do it all over again. Over and over until your knuckles split down to the bone. Or you fall. All the way to the other side. You see, coma's just a pretty word for nearly dead. Who knows how much time you got left? I wouldn't waste another second bullshitting. Why don't we just kill each other right now?
You son of a bitch!
That's more like it! Whatever you gonna do, though, better do it quick! Smell of death's in the air, Tanner!
I'm gonna ask the questions now, asshole.
This ought to be good.
When I woke up, in the hospital, it was all over the news. Some kind of chemical bomb or...
That doesn't sound like me.
Jericho's not a terrorist. It's not some vendetta or revenge plot.
Revenge sounds like your game, Tanner. I mean, who's inside whose mind here, right?
Yeah, it's not him. He's smarter than this.
Thank you.
Wait. Building a bomb. It isn't him. Having people think that there's a bomb is...
brilliant.
It would clear out downtown. The city would be wide open. Shit, I gotta wake up.
Good luck with that.
Oh, come on. All right, come on. Come on, John. Wake up. Oh, wake up. Wake up, God damn it. God damn it. Wake up! Hang on a second. Highway in my head. Cars in my head. Jericho in my head. Okay, new rules. I'm throwing some goddamn cars too.
This is fun. This is fun. I love it. At this point, we're so used to just driving into cars head on that being able to throw cars is such a batshit insane switch up in a good way. Unfortunately, this is the only section we could do this in. I wish they would have allowed us to do it in free roam with another keybind. But being able to do it all was just so fucking good. And on a side note, I'm so glad that they didn't pull any punches with the dialogue.
Is that all you got, you sad son of a bitch? Just suck it up, John. Gotta get close and finish this. I beat him. Now to beat death. Okay, John, wake up. Wake up, John, it's time!
Law enforcement officials are still trying to determine whether a stolen shipment of sheet platinum is linked to today's threats. With the sudden evacuation of downtown San Francisco, local merchants are worried that looting might break out. Thousands of terrified
Hey man,
Bay
it
Area
is
residents
really
are
good to
now
see
left
that
to
you're...
stand by
Turn
and
that
wait
goddamn
as
TV
police
off
cordon
before I
off
put
the
a
last
bullet in
few
it.
routes in
That
and
you're
out of
finally
downtown.
awake.
We're told that
Whoa, hey, back into bed, my man.
I need car keys.
You need pants. And I got bad news about your car.
Give me your pants.
Excuse me?
Damn it, Jones, I need to move on this. I need to get downtown now.
You need to stay in bed. Look, you've been through a lot. You're not really making a lot of sense.
Don't talk to me like I'm crazy. Look, I know how this sounds. I am not losing my shit. Oh, you gotta trust... You trust me, right?
Most of the time, yeah.
There isn't any bomb.
What are you talking about?
It's a diversion. Jericho's making a different play. Look, you gotta trust me. I know what's going on.
Fine. But you're gonna have to steal your own damn pants.
Thank you. Welcome back.
And here we are, back into the real world. No more shift, no more boost, no more slam. The real world sucks, but that doesn't matter. All that does matter is stopping Jericho. And that means rushing headfirst into what could possibly be mustard gas. Sure, it'll be fine.
Static. The radio's dead. Why would poison gas block radio? Okay, still alive. It's not cyanide gas. It's a goddamn smokescreen. Why? Downtown? What the hell does Jericho want downtown? Convicts. It's a prison break. He's at the goddamn prison.
Not bad. By the time the feds figure out this shitstorm, you'll be sipping mojitos and they'll be chasing 200 psychos across the country.
What about you?
I'll be spending 30 million of your hard-earned dollars. Get out of here.
What is it?
The pain in my ass.
Oh, you can run, asshole!
What a way to end it, huh? A classic car chase. After hours of using shift to end these chases in like 2 seconds, it's nice to have something grounded. By the way, the damage meter is misleading. Since you can't fully crash out the truck, you just continue to chase Jericho until you reach this warehouse.
Come in, dispatch, 40 Adam 30, requesting backup at the old warehouse, Hunter Point.
Jones, I had everything under control.
Under control? Man, you were about to wreck my damn car. Now can we please get that beer?
And just like that, the story is over. Tanner awakens from his coma, stops Jericho, and saves the day. I think there's probably still a ton of prisoners running around free. I mean, what about this guy? Where'd he go? Did they catch him? Did he get away? What's his deal? What's the deal with Kirk? Who the fuck is Kirk? It's been a while since I played this game, and looking at it through older, wiser, more detailed critical eyes, there's quite a few holes that can't be punched through the story. They could easily be discarded since everything happens within Tanner's own head. Nothing he does has an impact on the outside world. So even if he stopped Jericho's plans at every turn, there's no telling what was actually truly going on. But there's a few plot holes that are just too big to really write off. My only assumption is that the story was supposed to be longer, since it's fairly short, or entirely different. Or it's more likely that they were setting up for a sequel with a new bad guy, one that never came. Ubisoft has a tendency to start stuff and then silently kill it off. It's entirely possible that something else was supposed to come along and tie up the loose ends. It's sort of hinted at the end with an unused cutscene that was supposed to roll after the credits.
Jericho was smart, stealing everything he needed to make a terror weapon so everyone would take the bait. But I knew when to call his bluff. We're still cleaning up after the jailbreak. A lot of serious felons got away. Looks like we've got a lot of work to do.
I did try to search around and find maybe an early script or screenplay or something. Not that anything did come up. There is some really cool stuff to find on the internet about some of the early stages of Driver San Francisco. One of the coolest being the fictional cars that the game was supposed to originally have. I'm not going to complain about having licensed cars though, especially with how wildly unique the car list is. You get everything from Lamborghini, Dodge, Maserati, Lancia, RUF, not Porsche. Thanks EA. But you also just get some wild shit like a lifted GMT 400 or a garbage truck and all sorts of stuff in between. Driver carried the modding scene for so many games for such a long time before Forza became the cannon fodder. My dream car is featured in this game. Not a fan of those wheels though personally, but that could be fixed. There were also a few cut missions, like a firefighting mission, but nothing that would point to an original story, far from what we've got now. Quick interruption. At first I said I didn't find anything, but that was before I discovered this website that had a bit of pre-release information. Turns out that Ubisoft had originally handed off the development of a new Driver game to a studio called Sumo Digital. Because of course they did. There's some early concept art that supposedly hints at separate locations, more extreme police cars like a Mustang police car, but still possibly featuring Shift. There's not much to go off of, nor is there a good timeline for development, but it's possible the story was much larger than what we got, but was possibly shortened due to time constraints. Just a theory. It would have been really interesting to see what would have originally come of this, but I'm glad it worked out the way it did. It does look like a Ubisoft only purchased Reflections just to get a hold of the rights of Driver, just to outsource it. Like, why? I mean, I know why, but why? Something I did find interesting, though, is the Wii port of Driver San Francisco, because every game needed to have a bastard child port for the gutless Wii. Turns out, the story for the Wii is entirely different. I don't have a Wii, and I can't be bothered to set up an emulator. So here's the TLDR. The game takes place before the events of Driver 1, featuring some characters that are prominent in earlier, yet technically now sequels of the game. Characters like Solomon Kane. Tanner and a partner named Alvarez are chasing him down, crashing in the process, leading to Alvarez being killed. Tanner goes undercover with Tobias Jones, technically making this Jones's origin story into the franchise, to infiltrate Kane's gang and unravel the underground arms market. It takes place in an earlier setting in San Francisco. Actually features missions similar to Driver 1, including a parking garage tutorial and real undercover work. The story is told through comic-style panels, sort of like Need for Speed Carbon on the DS, which I like. It's the same voice actor for Tanner.
For all I know, I'm walking right into a trap.
Honestly, as much as I like the main console versions of San Francisco, this is pretty cool, and I would have loved to see this done properly. Of course, since the story is different, shift is not a thing on the Wii, but it is still pretty neat. Speaking of the DS, there was also a DS version that, again, has an entirely different story, taking place after Driver 2. This time revolving around a plot that involved the kidnapping of the New York senator, something along those lines. Oh, but that's not all. There is also a 400-page novel tie-in called Driver Nemesis. It takes place after Driver 2, like Renegade, but is again an entirely different story, and it also acts as a tie-in for Driver San Francisco. I'm not sure if it conflicts with the comic. I cannot find an English version. I'm reading it, but there's no way I'm finishing it in time for this video. I'll link a PDF below if you're interested in reading it yourself. So, in 2011 alone, there was so much lore added to the Driver universe, some of it possibly conflicting, for better or worse. But there's no way you can look at it and not think that something much bigger was being set up. So, what happened to Driver San Francisco? What happened to Driver as a whole? For those that are somehow unaware, Ubisoft started delisting Driver San Francisco from digital storefronts during the later half of 2016. First got pulled from Xbox and PlayStation around July, with Steam and Uplay following in December. Started getting pulled less than 5 years after release. Why? Well, unfortunately there's no actual definitive answer. Most likely scenario is down to licensing. The game features plenty of licensed vehicles, music, there's even advertising for real brands around the map. Some licensing deals are only good for so long, whether it be an actual date or the licensing rights holder changes and the terms change with it. GTA 4 deals with the same thing with music, which is why the game gets random updates out of the blue to remove certain songs from the radio. Depending if music was the issue, it could have been an option to Ubisoft if it's not one of those songs that are hard baked into some of the pre-rendered cutscenes. Same could be said about sponsorships in games. There might be some issues patching out billboards and such. Maybe, but it's a weak argument. If it's a licensing issue with cars, that becomes a way more complex issue, since that messes with the core of the game. Even though they had a sacrificial car for explosions, the damage model for pretty much all of the cars is really good. But as most of us know now, brands have a problem with their cars being portrayed as anything less than fucking adamantium. It's possible that a licensed brand or brands didn't like that the cars were capable of being destroyed in-game. Personally, I think it's more dangerous to technically falsely advertise that your car can collide straight into a wall at Mock Jesus and get away with some chipped paint. But what do I know? I'm just the stupid consumer, and not an investor. A less likely theory could be down to legal issues with voice actors or something along those lines. Issues with royalties, contract agreements, the list goes on. There's nothing that really points to this, though Ubisoft is almost always in legal trouble. It could be possible that one of the many lawsuits that they were involved in could have possibly included something to do with someone or something that played a role in this game. Nothing's really popped up any legal documents or anything like that, but there's no really telling. It's a weak argument. But whatever the issue really is, Ubisoft outright refuses to tell anybody. Since the game was removed, people have done nothing but ask, why? And Ubisoft will not answer the question honestly and directly. In fact, the only response we ever got was, and I quote, Driver San Francisco has been delisted for a few years. A number of factors go into evaluating whether to keep a game live, including community support. Take note, including community support. I take every opportunity to shit on Ubisoft. I fucking hate Ubisoft. So let me tell you how that last part sounds to me. People weren't on their hands and knees sucking our cocks and fondling our about releasing this magnificent game enough. So we decided that because I can't get any, everyone gets punished. Ubisoft's position in the gaming industry is just outright depressing. They hate the idea of game preservation, they loathe ownership, and they would blow up a daycare just to pick $1 out of the rubble. I wonder why that is. Ubisoft used to be a house name going into the 7th generation of consoles, and they did well, but they have not had the same momentum since. So here's a wild conspiracy theory. Driver was removed because it threatens modern day Ubisoft. I don't have any evidence for this, and it is a totally baseless theory. I am fully aware. But given Ubisoft's attitude and the subpar standard they have established now, I don't want to write it off. I think it's the same reason why they removed the original crew, since it's an entirely different theme, setting, plot, and otherwise game than the newer crews, which threatens the integrity of them. It's probably the same reason why they don't dare show Rayman on screen again, because if they do it, people are going to ask why there's no Rayman games. It was the same reason why I bought a bunch of backups of Watch Dogs 1 and Watch Dogs 2. They're just unpredictable. You don't know what they're going to do next, and it's very clear that they don't care what they're going to do next. Listen, licensing is more than likely the cause, but Ubisoft's silence speaks for itself. They simply do not care about their fans and customers enough to even give an answer, nor did they give any notice of their original intentions. Which begs the question, what's next, and will we even get a warning? So, what can we do? If you want to give this game a shot, your options are limited, but it is accessible. I got my copy from a user named Skype in our Discord server, who I am infinitely grateful for to be able to play this game again. But it is on the Internet Archive if you would like to give that a shot. You also try to find a physical copy for a console, but they are getting harder and harder to find with time, unfortunately. And I know I am a broken record, and everyone's been saying the same thing. But now's the time to get proactive about game preservation. There is no telling what else is going to become inaccessible, but it's clear that once that decision is made, there is no changing it, and it may come without warning. Unfortunately, it's a losing battle when it comes to litigation and law, so it is up to you to do whatever is necessary to save the games you don't want to see disappear. Groups like Stop Killing Games has a petition for EU citizens to sign right now. Unfortunately, I don't see Driver San Francisco coming back, and I think any plans to continue its story are dead with it. Luckily, its legacy lives on, whether Ubisoft likes it or not.
My purse too.
Come on, do not catch back up to me. Fuck!
You can't get away now.
These Corvettes are fucking ridiculous.